Thank you so much for joining us for the podcast today. We have a special guest that I'm sure everybody's going to be interested in. But first, I want to talk about something we're super excited about. This year is the 12th year of the Child Summit. Everybody knows what the summit is, and everybody's super excited about it. So I just found out that registration is going to open today, so you can go ahead and secure your spot. And I also want to mention, with your agency, if you own a business, if you know someone who wants to help out, we're looking for sponsorship for the summit, and you can use your existing advertising budget to help us and show the community that you support the children and the work we do here. Another way to help out, often people want to help. I know I see things out in the community that want to help, but I just don't know how, so I don't. But we've made it super easy. You can join the Circle of Care. I'm a member. I spend more than this on coffee, so we would like for you to join as well. It's $12 a month. It automatically comes out, and of course it's tax deductible. It's an easy way to track that expense, and every month when it comes out, you know that you did your part to help out, and it makes you happy. It makes you feel good that you did do something that will help these children and help us in this work. Are you refusing? Are you being a diva? Huh?
Come here.
What do we have to do? Get all
It's like, no, Chrissy needs me right now.
yellow M&Ms? You know how they do. The belly rub. Poor girl. Trying to make her work.
This will work.
Trying to make the baby work. So now I'd like to introduce our very special guest today. Our guest happens to be Autumn, our therapy dog, but she's being a diva, so refuses to speak. So we've been fortunate enough to have her mom here to interpret what Autumn would let us know about her job. So thank you, Wanda, for being here with us today. And Wanda, how long have you worked with Autumn? Tell us a little bit about that.
So I became the therapy dog handler in June of 22.
Oh, yeah?
So 2 years.
That you've worked with Autumn in particular.
Yep.
Have you done this work before with other pets, other animals?
No, she's the first.
Interesting. Wanda, can you talk to us about what led you down this path? What was the first beginning steps to get into this role?
So when the Children's Advocacy Center opened, there was talk about having a therapy dog, and it was mentioned to me about having the therapy dog. So I volunteered, and I went to Brevard County Sheriff's Office, which is where Autumn came from.
Okay.
And they have a 40-hour training that you do with the dog and become certified.
Okay, so you were already in this work and then transitioned to bring Autumn in to be the therapy dog provider.
Yes. Yep.
That is interesting. And you mentioned that Autumn came from a sheriff's department. How did that come to be? Was she fostered? Was she in a shelter? Where did Autumn come from?
So Autumn was a rescue.
Okay.
The Brevard County Sheriff's Office has the inmates work with the dogs to do the initial training, and then they turn them over to different law enforcement agencies for therapy dog work, and a lot of them are in schools.
The dogs work in the schools with maybe like the guidance counselor?
School resource officers.
School resource officers. Interesting. How old's Autumn?
Autumn is 6 years old.
She is still a baby then. She's not an old girl at all. No. Did you get to choose, Autumn? Did you have any role in the dog that would come to you or the dog you would work with?
No, they picked and sent me a picture and said, this is who you're going to get.
This is your dog. Did you go up and bond with her immediately, or did she come to your home?
No, we did it there. After the first day, I think day 2, we got to take the dogs home.
You stayed up there and interacted. You say dogs. Was Autumn not the only one that you brought?
No. For me,
okay.
She was the only one.
Okay.
Dogs for like the other agencies that were there.
Yeah. And did you continuous training with her? I feel like not too long ago you went away for some work with you and her.
Yes, we have to maintain certain training throughout the year to remain certified.
To stay where you're at with it.
Yes.
What is your role? Okay, you've made it that far. You were chosen to do this role here with Autumn and gone through the proper training. So what is that? What is it that you do here? What does a typical day look like for you?
So I'm an advocate with the Sexual Assault Assistance Program. With Autumn, we go out and greet the kids when they come in for their interview, and then provide support throughout that process and extended past that process.
So I bet the kids react very well and surprised, right, to see a dog, a friendly, happy dog there. It is somewhat of a distraction, right, to what's happening?
It is. Most kids, 99% of the kids, take to her right away. Some of them lay on the floor with her, and I'm pretty much forgotten at that point.
Yes. So. We often tease you here that yes. Where's Autumn? And you kind of get overlooked. And that's why I always talk about you being her mouthpiece and speaking for her, because
I'm known as Autumn's mom.
That's Autumn's mom. Yeah, you don't have an official role except for Autumn's mom. That's how we introduce you often as well. Are there any certain characteristics of Autumn that make her the ideal dog? I notice immediately she's not jumpy. She's not skittish, and she's not overactive energy. She's very calm. Was that a factor in her being chosen for this work, or was that trained into her?
No, that is all her. That's a big thing that they look for in therapy dogs is to be calm. She is just amazing in her role. Like, she will go up and senses who needs her the most, and typically she lays across their feet. So
I love that about her. I noticed that, and it's almost like she's holding him down. Like, I'm here, I've got you covered, and I've witnessed that. And I think that was my question. Is that trained into a dog, or they're chosen because that's just who they are?
That's just who they are.
Yeah, that's amazing. And often we see Autumn, like she is now, laid out, very comfy in her working day. Is she energetic at home? Does she play? Does she run?
She does. She gets her cases of the Zoomies.
Yeah.
And I have 3 other dogs at home, so they play, and she's different at home.
What's that interaction like with the other dogs? Did you have those first and brought Autumn in?
So I had 2 dogs, and then I brought Autumn in.
Okay.
And because she's so amazing as a husky, I got another husky.
That's awesome. And the other dogs, do they work?
No.
Oh, so they're lounging around the house.
Dogs.
They're stay-at-home dogs. Is there any issues when Autumn leaves every day? The other dogs, are they okay with that? Do they realize the routine and that they don't get to go?
Yes, I think it's kind of the routine. They know that she's going. So.
Yeah, they're okay with that. Yeah, they have to be, right? She's the worker. She's the one bringing all the money in. So
I mean, it's the same routine every day.
Yeah.
So.
They get it and they understand.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you think people misunderstand her role? I would think that maybe one of the questions would be, is she an emotional support dog?
No. So there's a difference between an emotional support dog and a therapy dog. Yes, she provides emotional support.
Yeah.
But her role is just to be there for other individuals. Like, emotional support dogs are typically for one specific person.
Yes.
And she's not. She's for whoever might need her.
Can help in general. Yeah. Is this her only role, is to come here and comfort children and young people that are going through this service? Would she work in any other entities through your work here? Would she go to the courthouse? Would she go to other events where the child needed support?
Yes. So we have been to court with children to support them there. State Attorney's Office to support during meetings with the family and the child. Pretty much anywhere we're needed, we'd go.
That's awesome. What about, I've heard you mention you approach gently. There are children who may have had an issue with a dog in the past, who may just be afraid of the size of a dog, which she's pretty a comfortable size, but people do have fear. How do you address that? If they really are uncomfortable, do you try to make it more comfortable, or stop there with, okay, I understand you don't really work well with dogs?
So I think it depends on the situation. I usually ask first in case someone is afraid or has allergies. It doesn't happen a lot, but I do occasionally have somebody who's afraid of dogs. But I've also had children who've come in and they might be in another area and I'm out working with somebody else. And before they leave, they're right up, snuggled up next to her. I had one little girl who was afraid of her when she first came. And after multiple trips back here, she was in my office laying on the bed with Autumn.
That's rewarding.
It is.
That's rewarding.
It really is amazing to see how she works with people, like the difference it makes.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. You notice the impact right away that she's connected with someone, and you don't even have to know the why behind it. She knows and feels that out through that energy and goes and sits with them and chooses them specifically to comfort.
Yes.
And that, I just don't know how you get so lucky as to find a dog who has that. And they know what they're doing when they choose them, apparently. They sense that kind of characteristics that can move on and care for people like she does. She's amazing. Do you think any of the other dogs you have would branch out to do this as well, or it's just a totally different?
So I had one who initially was going to be the therapy dog, and she just didn't have it.
Just wasn't in her to do that.
Her.
I always envision, what I'm impressed with her is like toys and kids. Generally that excites dogs, and they are zooming all over the place with little toys, trying to get them, trying to chew them, trying to jump on kids. She does not. And that is amazing, but she's not an old dog. So I just think her presence and her calmness is powerful.
Yeah, kids can sit there with treats and taunt her, and she won't take them
until she's allowed to by mom. I think that is incredible what you do without her. You yourself supporting the sexual assault victims and being there for them. And now to bring on this precious, beautiful dog on top of it, people really feel cared for on every level. That she's there available, that you're there available, and the whole system's available there to help out with this very serious situation. Is there anything else that we need to know about Autumn or your work that people would find interesting?
Something specific? That's a tough one.
Yeah. Well, what's a typical day? What's one of the cases that you know that she made an impact on?
There's been so many. I had a little boy who came in who, it was a situation where one of his parents had murdered another parent, and he was living with his grandmother, and grandmother brought him in, and he at first didn't really want to see her, but he ended up coming over, and he started talking to me and Autumn and asking me questions about Autumn.
Yeah.
And his grandmother got teary-eyed and said he hadn't spoken since he got to her house, and Autumn was the first time he'd spoken to her. And there's just so many instances where she's gotten people to open up, and even with language barriers, like I can go out and with a Spanish-speaking family, and I do not speak Spanish.
Yeah.
But we can communicate about the dog without actually having to use words.
Isn't that amazing, that type of connection? And I know we've talked about in the past, like if a child has come through here, it's not the end. If they need support for something later, they could come back in like today and sit with you and use Autumn, that they've connected with already, to continue another process in their case.
Right.
They can still contact you and use Autumn's comfort for anything else that might be happening.
Yes, and I offer that for a lot of different cases, so that Autumn's there to help support the child. So.
Yeah, and that's what made him get the most comfort. To continue to use her for that is going to be super important, that she's still there for everybody and that you're here for them as well. Is there anything you would like people to know as they approach Autumn? If they come here to visit, maybe come to do a tour for no other reason but just to come by, or a child who's approaching her, is there anything you'd like parents or children to know before they approach Autumn or a therapy dog? Is there a better way to come to her?
So I can't speak for all dogs, but with Autumn, she likes to, like if you put your hand out and let her smell you and kind of give you a little lick, After that, you'll be fine. She just doesn't like over the top, quick on top of her head.
Okay, that makes sense. She wants you to come at her this way with a hand.
Let her smell you. It's like her greeting. She needs to just kind of give you a smell.
That's fine. Yeah, because like you said, all dogs are different, but that's the best way to approach Autumn.
Yes.
If they come in and need her support, they can approach her by coming straight at her with a hand, and that's more comforting for her as well.
Yes.
That's amazing. We're certainly grateful that you're here with us and can offer. We enjoy working here because of Autumn, and the fact that we get to work with her and you makes our jobs a little easier. We use her as well for our own therapy. Yes, we can just go by, and very few workplaces have that opportunity. So we actually, although I think she's officially labeled as a therapy dog, she's our emotional support here as we do the work inside. So she's a big part of our team, as well as you are, Wanda. So thank you for all the work you do with us, for us, and for the community, and the extra impact of having a pet that's also involved. So we certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
As we close out this episode, we again want to thank Wanda and Autumn for joining us and answering some very good questions that we have about that program and what it looks like for us. I want to close out with mentioning the summit. Every year, all the local organizations and nonprofits are always excited about this. Right now, you're the first to know about registration being open. Also, support the summit with some sponsorship. Get your company's name out there to show the community what you support. Often, we're not asking for anything more than what you already have in budgeting for advertising. Use it for us. It's going to help twofold by showing your support. And also the Circle of Care. This is the easiest way for you to join us with $12 a month. It's automatically deducted, and you'll know every month that you're doing something to help us without much effort on your end. So please join us. Check the website. We're often updating different programs, different initiatives that we have. And with the Circle of Care, you'll have some insider information that we send out to people involved in that portion of our care.